eyes for a second. Picture a Saturday afternoon. The windows are open. Something is playing on the radio, and before you even realize it, your lips are moving. You know every word, you don't know how, you just do. That's the magic of 1966. Welcome back to Motown Groove, the channel where the music never gets old and the memories never fade.
No colors anymore, I want them to.
Today, we're counting down the top 15 songs from 1966 that still make us sing along decades later.
Turn black. I see the girls walk by.
Records that ruled jukeboxes, AM radio, and living room turntables. Songs that shaped a generation even if they've quietly slipped from daily memory.
Oh baby, it just happens every day.
And here's what we want you to do right now, before we even get started. Think of one song from the 60s that still gives you chills. Hold that feeling.
Say it's gonna die, but honey, please let's face it.
Because by the time we reach number 1, there's a very good chance you'll be singing out loud, and you won't even be embarrassed about it. Hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications.
Ooh, come on, pretty baby, let's move it in a groove.
Stay with us, because somewhere on this list is a song that was never supposed to be released at all. And one of these hits spent more weeks at number 1 than anything else that entire year. We're saving both of those for when the moment is right. Let's get into it.
Dance, honey, dance, baby.
Our number 15, The Ballad of the Green Berets, Staff Sergeant Barry Sadler.
On their chest is our men.
We open with a record that drops you directly into one of the most complicated cultural moments in American history.
Men who mean just what they say.
In early 1966, pop radio was full of love songs, dance records, and dreamy harmonies. Then, this song arrived and stopped everything cold.
When the Green Beret.
Barry Sadler wasn't a professional entertainer. He was an active-duty Army Special Forces medic. And when he recorded The Ballad of the Green Berets, he wasn't chasing fame. He was telling a story he believed in deeply.
When the Green Beret.
The song blended straightforward patriotism with the kind of emotional storytelling that AM radio was built for. It was simple, direct, and sincere, and it connected immediately.
We'll test today, but only.
Radio stations played it on repeat. Listeners responded in huge numbers. And despite a cultural climate that was growing increasingly divided over the Vietnam War, the record surged all the way to the top of the charts and stayed there for weeks.
On my son's chest, make him one.
Some listeners embraced it as a genuine tribute to military sacrifice. Others felt uneasy hearing it between Motown records and British invasion pop. But that divide only made it impossible to ignore.
Of America's best, he'll be.
What made its success truly remarkable was what it was competing against. Rock was getting louder, soul was getting sharper, and yet, for a brief window, sincerity outweighed style.
America's best, 100 men.
As the year moved forward, though, the charts began to soften, making room for something a little more tender, a little more romantic, and a whole lot closer to home.
When the Green Beret.
Number 14, Cherish, The Association. If number 15 felt like a moment of national tension, number 14 feels like a long, quiet exhale.
That I have hiding here for you inside.
Cherish, by The Association, is the kind of song that wraps around you slowly. No dramatic entrance, no flashy production, just pristine harmonies and a confession so honest it catches you off guard.
The one to share your schemes, and I am not gonna be the one.
The Association had a gift for smooth, layered vocals, but this record went deeper than their usual sound. It wasn't about romance as performance. It was about longing, about loving someone who doesn't love you back the same way, and choosing to carry that feeling quietly, rather than let it go.
Share what seems to be the life that you could cherish as much.
That vulnerability was rare on pop radio in 1966. Most hit records wanted you dancing or daydreaming. Cherish wanted something more personal. Now here's something the band's own label didn't fully believe. At first they questioned whether the song was strong enough to compete. Too gentle, perhaps. Too introspective for the mainstream. Audiences answered that question for them. Cherish became one of the most requested songs of the year. It lived on the charts for months. It turned into a slow dance standard, the kind of song that plays at the end of the night when nobody wants to go home.
How many times I wish that I could hold you. You don't know how many.
Over time, it became a quiet cornerstone of teenage memory, the soundtrack to feelings. Most people never quite found the words for themselves. And just as romantic ballads were tightening their grip on the charts, another duo was preparing a comeback that would take that emotion even further. Number 13, You're My Soul and Inspiration, The Righteous Brothers. Now this is a comeback story. After splitting with legendary producer Phil Spector, a lot of people quietly wondered whether the Righteous Brothers could recapture the electricity that had made them stars. Phil Spector's wall of sound had defined their early records. Without it, could they still deliver? You're My Soul and Inspiration answered that question in the very first note. I ain't got nothing left. Built on sweeping emotion, dramatic pacing, and that unmistakable blue-eyed soul power, the song reminded every listener exactly what this duo was capable of. Bobby Hatfield's vocals soared. The arrangement built and built until it felt almost overwhelming in the best possible way. DJs loved it. Couples embraced it. And just like that, the Righteous Brothers were back at the center of pop culture, not as a nostalgia act, but as a genuine force. What's fascinating is how timeless it felt, even in its own moment. While rock music was beginning to experiment and push into new territory, this record stood firm, emotional, powerful, and completely human.
For crying, for living, and for dying.
As heartfelt ballads continued their run on the charts, the next entry would shift the energy entirely. We're talking urgency. We're talking drama. We're talking one of the greatest Motown performances ever committed to tape. Number 12, Reach Out, I'll Be There, The Four Tops. From the very first beat, you knew this one was different. Reach Out, I'll Be There doesn't ease you in. It grabs you by the collar. The rhythm is almost breathless. Levi Stubbs' lead vocal is desperate, commanding, and completely unforgettable. Motown executives actually debated how to release this record. They weren't sure if its intensity would translate on pop radio. It was raw in a way that felt almost risky for the polished Motown sound. That hesitation didn't last long. The moment it hit the airwaves, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Reach Out, I'll Be There topped the charts, crossed genre lines and became one of the defining sounds of 1966.
An illusion, and your world around is crumbling down.
It resonated far beyond the dance floor. It felt like a promise. And keep this one in the back of your mind, because one of the biggest songs still ahead on our list was never supposed to exist as a single at all.
No love of your own, but darling.
That revelation is coming. But first, let's talk about the most dreaded day of the week.
Come on, boy, reach out for me, reach out.
Number 11, Monday, Monday, the Mamas and the Papas. Here's the thing about Monday, Monday, it turned the worst day of the week into a #1 record. And not by pretending Monday was secretly wonderful, but by sitting right inside that feeling of dread and loss and making it absolutely beautiful. The Mamas and the Papas had already built a reputation for gorgeous folk pop harmonies, but Monday, Monday went somewhere more introspective than most of their work. Its structure shifts unexpectedly. Its rhythm never quite settles where you think it will. And somehow, that musical restlessness mirrors exactly how a rough Monday morning feels in your chest. It climbed to #1.
How could you leave and not take me?
And then it did something very few pop records ever managed. It won the Grammy Award for Best Pop Performance by a group or duo. What made it special was how effortlessly it held its own in a year full of harder rock and deeper soul. It proved that thoughtful songwriting, the kind that respects the listener's intelligence, could still dominate mainstream radio.
Every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day of the week is...
And as the California sound continued to spread across the airwaves, the next entry would take that westward longing and blow it wide open.
Won't go away.
Number 10, You Can't Hurry Love, the Supremes. By 1966, the Supremes were already pop royalty. Diana Ross, Mary Wilson, Florence Ballad, they had already changed what a pop group could look and sound like. But You Can't Hurry Love hit differently. While so many of their records leaned into heartbreak or glamour, this one leaned into something far more universal. The quiet, sometimes maddening experience of waiting for something real. Knowing love is coming but not being able to rush it no matter how much you want to. Diana Ross delivered that message with warmth instead of... The rhythm bounced with confidence, and the result was a record that felt equally at home on pop radio and soul stations, a crossover that looked effortless, even though nothing that good ever truly is.
These precious words keeps me hanging on.
It raced up the charts and became one of the group's most enduring hits. Even as musical tastes began shifting around them, You Can't Hurry Love sounded like it had always existed, like it was just waiting to be discovered. As Motown continued its near-total dominance of American radio, the airwaves soon turned westward toward a song that captured a very different kind of longing. Number 9, California Dreamin', the Mamas and the Papas. 2 entries, same group. That alone tells you something. California Dreamin' was recorded during a bitterly cold New York winter. John and Michelle Phillips, Denny Doherty, Cass Elliott huddled together conjuring sunshine, palm trees, and warm air out of thin, freezing nothing. That contrast is exactly what gives the song its power. The longing in it is real because it came from a real place. And when it hit the radio, listeners across the country, wherever they were, whatever season they were living through, felt it immediately. The folk rock blend was perfect. The harmonies were haunting. That flute break in the middle is one of the most unforgettable moments in all of 60s pop. What people sometimes forget is that California Dreamin' didn't explode overnight. It built slowly, week by week, gaining momentum with each spin until it felt completely unavoidable. It wasn't just a hit, it became a cultural mood, a collective exhale. And it didn't just define the mamas and the papas, it helped define an entire era of American music. As West Coast sounds tightened their grip on the charts, British pop influence was still holding firm on the side of the dial, and the next entry proved that international polish could compete with anybody. Number 8, My Love, Petula Clark. The British invasion had already sent wave after wave of artists across the Atlantic. Most of them arrived loud, energetic, and eager to shake things up. My love is warmer than the... Petula Clark took a different approach. My Love didn't come in swinging. It arrived with elegance, a sweeping orchestral arrangement, a vocal that was poised, warm, and completely self-assured. And every day I have to tell you more. Where other British acts leaned into excitement, Petula leaned into sincerity, and that restraint made her stand out. Once I thought that love was meant for... The record climbed to the top of the American charts and stayed there, becoming one of the biggest songs of the year. My love is warmer than the warmest sunshine, softer than a sigh. What made it remarkable was how wide its appeal ran teenagers. And their parents both loved it, which was not a small achievement in 1966. It was direct, it was sincere, it was beautifully paced. Than the deepest ocean, wider than the sky. And it proved that in a year of bold sounds and cultural statements, simple emotional clarity could still stop a room. And the warmest sunshine, softer than a sigh. My love is deeper. As smooth sophistication ruled the upper reaches of the charts, the next hit was about to bring pure joy screaming back to the dance floor, and nobody was going to be able to stay still. Number 7, I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch, The Four Tops. The Four Tops make their second appearance on our countdown, and if you know this song, you already know why. From the moment that opening groove kicks in, something happens in your body before your brain even processes it. Your foot starts moving, your shoulders follow, and by the time Levi Stubbs opens his mouth, you're already gone. I Can't Help Myself is Motown working at its absolute peak, every element precisely crafted to feel completely effortless. The rhythm section is flawless, the hook is irresistible, the energy never drops for a single second. DJs couldn't get enough of it. Jukeboxes played it until the needle wore down. Dance floors filled the instant it started. The record topped both the pop and rhythm and blues charts simultaneously, a crossover achievement that showcased Motown's unmatched ability to speak to everyone at once. What's fascinating and a little humbling is how much work went into making something sound that natural. The Four Tops made it look like breathing. It wasn't. And speaking of things that look effortless but carry real weight, it's time to make good on a promise we made earlier. The song that was never supposed to be a single, it's up next. And when you hear the story, it'll make you love the record even more. Number 6, Good Lovin', The Young Rascals. Here it is, the payoff. Good Lovin' by The Young Rascals was never intended to be a single, full stop. This was a live show weapon. The band used it to set crowds on fire, raw, relentless burst of energy designed to get a room moving and keep it moving until the walls shook. Nobody at the label looked at this track and said, "Put it on the radio." Then somebody actually listened to it, the raw energy, the call and response structure, the gritty, urgent vocals, the feeling that the whole thing might fly apart at any moment, but never quite does. Executives heard it and changed plans immediately. It hit radio and took off like a rocket, climbing straight to number 1 and turning the Young Rascals from a beloved live act into genuine pop stars. What set it apart from everything around it was texture. While the rest of the pop landscape was polished and smooth, Good Lovin' felt loose, alive, and real. That authenticity connected with listeners in a way that no amount of studio craft could manufacture. And in doing so, it pointed the way toward a rougher, more soulful direction that rock music was about to sprint toward. But if that song captured raw energy, the next one on our list captured something equally powerful. The suffocating, restless, absolutely alive feeling of a city in the dead of summer. Number 5, Summer in the City, The Lovin' Spoonful. Most summer songs in 1966 were about beaches, sunshine, cool breezes, and carefree afternoons. Summer in the City was about none of that. Instead, The Lovin' Spoonful gave us heat rising off asphalt, honking horns, the back of your neck getting gritty and damp. The sticky, claustrophobic, electric feeling of being in a city that never fully cools down and somehow finding that exciting rather than miserable. From the opening sound effects, traffic noise, construction sounds, the hum of urban chaos to that pounding, relentless rhythm, this record felt like a sensory experience. It wasn't just a song, it was a setting. Radio audiences had never quite heard anything like it. The record shot to number 1 almost immediately and became one of the most vivid time capsules of the entire decade. What made it genuinely brilliant was its honesty. It didn't romanticize the season. It put you right in the middle of it, sweaty, restless, and wide awake at midnight, and made that feel like the most thrilling place in the world to be. Pop music had just proven it could be cinematic without being polished. As summer burned across the airwaves, the charts were about to make room for something with an entirely different kind of fire. Number 4, Lightnin Strikes, Lou Christie.
Lips begging to be kissed. I can't stop.
Nothing else on the radio in early 1966 sounded like this. Nothing.
And nature's taking over my one-track mind.
Christie possessed one of the most unusual vocal instruments of the entire decade, a soaring, stratospheric falsetto that didn't just carry a melody, but transformed it into something almost theatrical. And Lightnin Strikes was the record that showed the world exactly what that voice could do. The song told a story of temptation building slowly through verse after verse, the tension tightening, before finally breaking open with that explosive chorus. It was dramatic, it was almost operatic, and it was completely unpredictable. Some radio stations hesitated to play it at first. They weren't sure how audiences would respond to such an unconventional vocal approach. It felt risky. Then listeners heard it, and curiosity turned into obsession almost overnight. Lightnin Strikes raced to #1 and stayed there, proving conclusively that 1966 pop audiences were willing to follow boldness wherever it led. The theatrical structure, the falsetto release, the emotional roller coaster of the whole 3-minute ride. As dramatic as this record was, the next song on our list was going to take a completely different route to the top. Less drama, more attitude, and one of the most iconic opening bass lines in the history of popular music. Number 3, These Boots Are Made for Walkin', Nancy Sinatra.
And these boots are made for walking, and that's just
3 words, boots walking you. From the moment that bass line drops, These Boots Are Made for Walkin' announces itself with a confidence that is impossible to argue with.
and now someone else is getting all your best.
Nancy Sinatra wasn't just releasing a pop single. She was making a statement in an era when female voices on pop radio were often framed softly delicate, romantic. Yielding Nancy arrived with something completely different. An attitude, a warning, a declaration of independence delivered in the coolest possible way. These boots are gonna walk all over you. The record stormed the charts. It became a cultural phenomenon almost immediately influencing fashion, driving television appearances and reframing what a female pop artist could project.
The boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
Nancy Sinatra wasn't waiting for anyone's permission, and listeners loved her for it. The song's influence spread far beyond music. It showed up in films. It appeared in advertisements.
You put on
It became visual shorthand for a particular kind of confident, self-possessed femininity that pop culture was just beginning to embrace.
these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Bold as this record was, though, there are still 2 songs ahead of us on this countdown. And here is the question we've been building toward all hour long.
When you ought to be a-changing. Now what's right in
Which song from 1966 spent more weeks at #1 than any other record that entire year? We're almost there. But first, the Rolling Stones have something to say, and it's dark. Number 2, Paint It Black, the Rolling Stones.
No colors anymore. I want them to.
This record arrived like a storm warning. While Sunshine Pop still lingered at the edges of the 1966 charts, Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones signaled something new, a willingness to go. Somewhere much heavier, much stranger, and much more unsettling than mainstream rock had previously dared.
Turn black. I see the girls walk by.
The sitar-driven melody, that hypnotic, Eastern-influenced riff was unlike anything most American radio listeners had ever heard woven into a pop record. It sounded exotic, restless, almost threatening.
And not have to face the facts. It's not
And it matched the song's lyrical darkness perfectly, a narrator consumed by grief so total that he wants the entire world to turn black alongside him.
happening to you. If I look
This was not feel-good radio fare. It demanded to be taken seriously, and audiences were ready.
to turn black, maybe then I'll fade away.
Paint It Black shot to #1 and dominated playlists across the country, standing in sharp, deliberate contrast to the lighter sounds, still competing for airtime.
Girls walk by, just in their summer clothes.
Its success wasn't just a chart victory. It was proof that pop audiences had matured. They were ready for experimentation. They were ready for darkness. They were ready to feel something complicated.
I see a red door and I want to.
Despite all of that, despite being one of the most powerful and influential records of the entire decade, Paint It Black was not the song that ruled 1966 the longest. That honor belongs to something lighter, something catchier, something that swept in like pure joy and absolutely refused to leave. #1, I'm a Believer, the Monkees. Here it is, the answer we've been building to all along. I'm a Believer by the Monkees was the #1 song of 1966, not just for a week or two, but for longer than any other record that entire year. It was everywhere. Car radios, kitchen tables, living room televisions, teenage bedrooms with the door shut and the volume turned all the way up. Written by Neil Diamond, yes, but Neil Diamond, and recorded by a band that critics loved to dismiss, the song combined an irresistible melody with pure, unfiltered optimism. It moved at exactly the right pace. The hook landed like a warm embrace. And that chorus, then I saw her face, now I'm a believer, hit people somewhere deep and real. Critics debated whether the Monkees were a real band. Purists questioned their authenticity. None of that mattered to the millions of listeners who embraced this record completely. Because here's the thing about joy, it doesn't need to be credentialed. It just needs to be real. And the feeling inside, I'm a Believer, was as real as anything that topped the charts in 1966.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
It closed out one of the most musically diverse years in American pop history, not with darkness, not with experimentation, not with controversy, but with pure, uncomplicated, singing in the car happiness. And that's exactly why it sits at #1.